3, 2, 1. Here we go. We're gonna tie a big old steelhead fly right now on a tube, and Guy is here helping me out, and I decided to call this an NMST, Nicholas Marabou Steelhead Tube. So let's get started here. This is what I'm going to do, a whole series on these. They're all tied on tubes. They involve Marabou, and they are great steelhead flies. This one, let me just show you the back of it. Has a red butt. It's kind of a trigger point. It's very wiggly. Has an overall dark cast with black and white barred ostrich, and a gunmetal gray ultrasonic disc. So let's get started here. For my tube, I'm using a Pro Sport Fisher medium classic tube. And I'm going to start in the, I've cut this piece off of a, I'm going to lean forward here. Show you what this stuff looks like. It comes in a package like this, orange, blue, pink. You can cut the tube any size you like. The cones fit over it quite nicely. A little bit of cement there. Now the butt, or the trigger point, this is a dark cast fly. This material is a little gnarly, and sometimes if the fibers are too long, I will trim them, as you saw me there. I'm going to spin this in a dubbing loop with an OPST dubbing twirler. Now you may have 15 dubbing twirlers already, but come on, you can afford to buy another one. I know you can. Don't need to, you know that. This is a very nice bright red dubbing material. It's a Spirit River material. I think it's called Rogue Red. So we got that. Now the very next thing I'm going to add here is a Schlappenhakel feather that I've previously picked out. Now some people, the purpose of this dubbing ball is multifaceted and not at all scientific, but it's a bright spot that may attract the steelhead's attention, but probably not as much as the overall size of the fly. But it's a kind of a cool little enhancement. And I like, oh, I'm getting ready to sneeze here. I might have to sneeze. It also adds a little bit of loft to keep, when I add my ostrich, to keep that ostrich up and flowing in the current. You know, we use a lot of these really intriguing terms. We talk about a fly's translucence, or its wiggle, or its flow, or its sparkle. And that's all great, and we have no real idea if that really relates to fish catching power or not. Here's some black and white barred ostrich, and these hurls are fairly slender. You see, I've got some broken tips there, so I'm going to pull those out and make them about the same length as the other ones. Now here's where you have some decision making. Are you going to make these, really long or really short? I'm going to make these, I don't want the overall size of this fly to be more than I want. Too much. So I guess the reason I'm stumbling around with this is that as you tie your fly, you could make those ostrich hurl fibers longer or shorter to please yourself. There isn't just a right or wrong way. Sometimes I'll tie them barely longer than the schlappen. Now I've had second thoughts about these, and I think I want to pull them back a little bit. And the reason I had second thoughts is when I got around the fly and looking at it, I was thinking, boy, those are a little bit longer than I think I want them. So there isn't just one way to do this. I think there are times when we are prone to make our flies just large enough that the steelhead will nip at them and not really grab them. So I'm clumping my ostrich. I notice I didn't spin it. The super pros probably always spin. The amateurs like me are prone to not spinning. Now I'm going to have to reach forward, pardon me, and get, because I wasn't adequately prepared, I have this big long chunk of, I think it's like 14 inches long, of predator, holographic predator Flashabou. It's really nice stuff, and I'm gonna put some in here on this side of the fly. And one of the reasons I like this Flashabou is it's really limp. It's really slender and it's really limp. Different lots, different packages of Flashabou won't always be as flexible. I like it to be loose like that. If you get a pack that's nice and has the properties you like, hang on to it, because you don't know if the next one will be the same. Now I'm going to add a piece of black Marabou tied in by the tip. I'm going to try to fold this feather. I have real mixed levels of success folding Marabou. And some people say, why on earth would you fold Marabou? You should be winding your Marabou tubes, the Marabou in reverse. No, that's fine. I don't do it that way. You're welcome to. You may find that you think that your fly has more motion in the current when you tie your Marabou in reverse. You may not. I haven't. And being stubborn, I choose not to. Now, the only reason I'm adding another piece of schlappen here. Now, some people would add a guinea feather to have some contrast there. They might add a few strands of Lady Amherst tail fibers. That's all good. That's all good stuff. Me, I just put Marabou followed by schlappen, because I think the plain old black is perfectly good. But the reason I'm adding this schlappen over the Marabou is to make this fly just a little bit more substantial. If I only had the Marabou on there, that Marabou would, in the current, would really slim down more so than it will with this schlappen feather in front of it. And you notice this schlappen feather, I'm just going to feel in here gently, trim that butt off. I'm holding the tension with my thread. I want this fly to be not too long, nice flow in the current, a little bit of flash. It's substantive, and without this schlappen feather, it would really slim down quite a bit more than it will now. So I'm tempting fate by what I was doing is reaching in there to trim that hackle stem a little closer, because I'd rather not have it interfere with my disc. And I'll show you, I'm tying 2 whip finishes, because your discs, I'm trying to pull, you notice I'm trying to pull the Marabou out of the way with my other hand. You notice this isn't going as smoothly as I'd like it to. Your disc can wear your thread, and if it does, I'd rather have 2 whip finishes there. If I use super glue, I wouldn't, or a UV cure, I wouldn't need 2 whip finishes. So now I have a ultrasonic disc. This happens to be large, gunmetal gray, and I'm gonna pull this off. I would normally cut it with a razor blade. I'm doing this hoping that it's staying within view. And I'm gradually melting that down, and then I'm hunting around desperately to find my bodkin to make sure that tube is open, and it is. So look at this beauty. It's not very long. Slim down. It's under 3 inches in length, and when it's rigged, where'd that go? I've got one that's here it is. I've got here is a Gamakatsu hook with a double surgeon's loop, and the thing about this, the medium classic tube, is that it pulls, that knot will pull right into the rear of that tube and just be snug enough to stay there. So this fly is tied in the round, so it doesn't matter which way the fly rides, and the hook is right near the back of the fly. This baby's ready to fish. Okay? Nicholas Marabou Steelhead tube, and this is the red butt with the black and the white and black ostrich. We're going to tie this in different colors, same technique, but I'd like you to see some of the different color variations so you can see what kind of things I've fished successfully. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you have fun. Get out there.